have just one more thing. The Teacher of the Year Committee has once again placed before you a science teacher. And it turns out that if you put a science teacher in front of a group of people, they will eventually start teaching science. And honestly, it doesn't have to be a big group of people. If you find yourself in a one-on-one conversation with a science teacher, they'll start teaching you science. You'll know what's happening when we say, well, actually. And I thought it would be fitting to pick up where Ruth Ann Baldwin left off last year in her Teacher of the Year address. I'm sure you remember that she demonstrated some properties of sound with the drinking straw, but to review, Ruth Ann. Thank you. So I'm sure you remember that as the drinking straw got shorter, the frequency of sound produced got higher. This is a picture of the wave pattern formed in the straw. And as the straw gets shorter, the wave pattern stays the same, it just gets smaller. So, as the wavelength goes down, the frequency goes up. This slide had an equation originally, but Jenny said most people don't bring calculators to these things. So I took it out. There are some out there, I know. Go down. This is the basic principle behind all musical instruments. As the organ pipe changes length, as you cover different holes in the flute, the frequency of sound produced will change. And I have here a small piece of PVC pipe, and if I bang on the end of it, it makes a particular frequency of sound because of its length. If it was cut to a different length, it will make a different frequency of sound. Now alone, I can make but a small amount of sound with just one piece of PVC pipe. You will find at the end of your rows, if you're on this side, it's on your right. If you're along this section, it's on the left hand. If you can take those, take one and pass them down. Oh no, the other end. Well, as you're right.
They're all set. I put these out.
For a brief time this summer, I cornered the market on half-inch PVC pipe. There's still an account at Home Depot trying to figure out what that spike was all about. What do you mean you're out? So let's just take a minute. Well, we'll make sure everybody has one. I should thank Amy Wingett and Bob Becker for helping me get these put out too. So if you've got one, everybody just bang on it. And if you didn't get one, just bang on the end of it. There you go. All right? So alone, one of us can make but a small amount of sound. Together, we can make a little more sound. But if we're together and organized, each of your PVC pipes has a piece of colored tape on them. And each of those colors of tape corresponds to a note on the musical scale. Now I know I am not a music teacher, and this is probably not a real scale. I think I'm missing a note or two, but I cut enough PVC pipe, so. So here's what we'll do. If yours does not have a piece of tape, it's because it's, well, I didn't think I should put white electrical tape on a white piece of PVC pipe. So, when I point to the color that corresponds to your pipe, just bang on the end a few times, all right? So, it's harder to do. All right. So alone, one of us can make but a little bit of sound. Together we can make a lot of sound, and together and a little bit organized, we can start to make something happen. I should say before we proceed, it's been said that success without the risk of failure really isn't success, it's just doing. So this could be a disaster, or it could be really cool. All right. So what you'll do, we'll play, it's just 3 lines. You will play your color of PVC pipe whether it's in the harmony or melody. So if you have the C, for example, you'll do C, 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 4 times in a row there in the beginning. So don't worry if it's in the harmony or melody, just go across, and then we'll go to the second row, and then the second row. So just hit it once, whenever we get to your note. And to make it easy, you just follow the rest. Okay? So that's all you need to do. You're still working on that PowerPoint, she said? All right, so we'll do it twice for practice, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, so whenever the ball gets above your note, just bang once on the end. I've done this with students, only 25 of them, but we'll see. All right, 1, 2, ready, go. We're going to do it one more time. Now we practice. Talk about teachable moments. I'm using this year, so your students, former students, and probably future students for years to come will see this. So let's start that. All right. Okay, same pace. You know the timing. Let's do 1. Oh wait, there's the ball. All right, 1, 2, ready, go. Ready to take this on the road. So, obviously there's a lesson here, and that lesson is that frequency and wavelength are inversely related. If you remember one thing from this morning, no, that's not. You can forget that if you want to. The thing to remember is that each of us plays an important part in a much bigger picture. Even if you just had the D, and I know the people with the D's thought, seriously? That's it? Your part was important. So when you go back today into your classrooms or offices or clinics or libraries, when you go back to the important work that we all do, remember that you're not alone. We are connected by the students with whom we work, and they don't see our work as solitary, and they don't walk into our lives as blank slates or blank active boards. They carry with them years of memories and experiences. And I think we lose this especially at the transition from the elementary to the middle school and the middle school to the high school. So if you find yourself struggling with a student, reach back to those who were in their lives previously. And if you've made a connection with a student, reach forward and let their next teacher know about it. Thank you, and have a great year.